going, growers? Good to see you here. Hey, we are coming here live from the greenhouse here in northern Michigan. I am doing my annual review on the seed packs that I got, and you know, we're going to be doing a review on this one right here, which is our 55 pack, 55 premium collection from Organo Republic. We're going to be going through this, why I like it, why it's one of my favorite ones to look at here. So, for those that don't know, my name is Ryan. I come here from northern Michigan, simply just sharing information on what I do with my garden, how I go about doing stuff. So I just want to make sure this is quiet. There we go. Just so I have the chat up over here as we're doing this. So yeah, I come here in the garden, the greenhouse, and come here live just so we can talk and chat. Too often people, a lot of the garden community, it's out there. You just see where they do the videos, and then you're trying to catch up in the chat. And I understand trying to find time for live doesn't work. If you guys happen to catch me, I want to be on here so we can see each other live and just chat it up. Okay, so let's get into it here. Again, this is from Amazon. Link to this is in the description. So to be clear, this is not sponsored. Organo Republic has not sent this to me. I've got no money from them. That being said, Organo Republic, if you're out there, I mean, hey, if you want to talk about sponsorship and everything, I'm more than happy to have a conversation. Contact information is down in the description. But anyways, we're gonna go through these here today. And again, this is my favorite pack that I got. There's versions of this where it's down to like 20 vegetables, 30. This is 55. This is just below the top tier. And this is $23.50 on Amazon, I believe, something like that. It's around $23. And it's such a deal. And I've had such success with these vegetables, these seeds, that I always come back here, and I want to make sure that folks know about this, just because of we're able to save money. Think about how much just a regular pack of seeds costs, going to pick them up from the one of the mega centers, right? Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, whatever. So this is a packet of Burpee sunflower seeds right here, right? You can just see this here. It's $1.99, so it's $2. And this is from last year. These are going to be $2.50 per, right? I mean, that's for just those seeds. And through these folks going on to Amazon, again, I understand where it's at. These are really good seeds. And we're going to talk through why I like them and some other stuff too. But they also come with this cool little kit, which is what we're going to start with. That's why I like this pack. Every year I get a fresh set of tools here. Just to show you, I'm going to bring out the one example here that we start with is going to be, so I break them out over here, just kind of toss them up here, folks. So they come with these cool little pincers, right? For trimming, like especially like when you're thinning out your seeds. This is a really good tool. It's ergonomic, fits in there well, holds up, and you can just, does cutting really good. Okay. Well, they're good for a year. And again, I've used mine quite a bit. As you can see, we've kind of gotten into the rusty, evil looking type of stuff. We don't want that. So I'm going to be replacing that out. Okay. So again, good stuff. It comes with these. It comes with 3 other tools as well. So it's got this, this is a seed dibber tool. They partnered with Seedfini is the name, seedfini.com. It's on here. That's who they've partnered with. And what this is for is, it's hard to see on here, but they have on, basically on one side and on the other. So they have centimeters on one side, inches on the other. And then on this, they've got same thing, portions of of an inch or whatever. And this is what you do, is it's to help you gauge how deep your hole needs to be. So if you need a 1-inch hole, right, you're going to find the 1-inch mark right here and make sure you bury your seeds that far down. Like that's what it's for, is you're learning and getting better on measuring how far your seeds need to go down. That's what it's for. And then for the bigger ones, it's kind of got this, so you can auger them out. So it's a cool little tool as you're learning to get that. I like it. Next is, they also include a set of tweezers, and they got little teeth on them here. It's kind of hard to see, but they got these little teeth on here. It's for getting seeds. You can just kind of go and pick them up, right? And to help you kind of sort them out as you're dealing with them. Because, I got these fingers that aren't quite as good as these right here, right? So one of the things we have there. Additionally, they also include this tool, which is a weeding fork and a widger tool. All right, so again, weeding fork, pretty simple, just pull those out. And then the widger tool, what this is designed to do, and let me show you, is so we've got our our little pods here, right, that we have. It's designed to basically goes in, and you can just help you scoop them out in one big chunk. Like that's the idea. That's what this is for. And so I love this tool. when they came across it, because otherwise, you know, I was using the spoon technique and all that stuff, and wasn't really what I was looking for in life. You know what I mean? So, but anyways, this is a great little tool. I love it. So I'm glad to have a refresh on all of these going into the season. Fresh new tools. So I'm gonna pop them right back in the thing here so we have them. So again, lots of good stuff here, folks. This is good. Again, this is not sponsored content at all. I simply, you know, when I come on here, I am trying to help where I can. Folks that you know, they want to get into gardening, want to do this stuff, but they aren't really sure about, you know, the costs and how to be able to do these things. And, you know, it is expensive. It can be, you know, I'm in a greenhouse. I've invested a lot of money in here over time though, and that's the thing. Okay. All right. So next up on the pack here, stuff I just want to show you, and this is one of the reasons why, again, this is a very well done pack. It's good. It's got, you know, it's sealed, so you can ziplock this thing tight, which I'll probably never be able to ziplock this thing tight again, which is fine. It's going to go in the house until we're ready to start rolling here with some of this. But again, Organo Republic let you know the number of seeds. This is 35,630 seeds total that they have here, is what they're looking at. And then different things that they have on here is going to be, and why I enjoy these guys. Put on my old man glasses here now. All right, we've got non-GMO, right? That's important. We got our heirloom seeds. I've always felt that the heirloom seeds are really important to make sure that we're keeping track of, because of the, again, there's a different flavor profile. We're doing it with a monoculture. It's all the reasons, right? That's the reason why I have that. These are, you know, again, from the USA. I'm here in America. That's what we have. And then also, again, high germination rate. That's the other piece here, folks. When you're buying from the folks here, this Organo Republic, they have a high germination rate. I've had immense success with their seeds. And, you know, they give me the nice mix of stuff as I'm learning about what I want to grow. Like, for instance, we're going to look at here, and they'll have them in here, but there's Detroit red beets are one of the plants that I've just enjoyed growing. You can, you know, you can eat the leaves, right? They're really good. The foliage is delicious, along with the actual beet itself. So as I've discovered, this is something I like. I actually order separate amounts of those seeds. Like, I have a full another bag of those in addition to these, because I'm going to be growing quite a few this year. And I was able to discover, like, this is the beet that I really like from this pack. So that's kind of, it's a inexpensive way for you to discover what you really like. Then you can go shopping for the variety and the changes that you want. So this is really great about these larger packs, on top of just the cost, right? It's a very, very easy, you know, it's a low barrier to entry to get into these things. Okay, so let's take a look at, let's find one that's got a little color to it, right? We want a little color. Let's look at this eggplant here. All right. So this is one that we have here, right? This is going to be our eggplant. And we're just going to talk through kind of what they have on here. So they'll go through the top here, is tell you what the actual name of the plant, the normal name of the plant, which the common name, I should say. And then underneath that, they'll have the type, right? So this is a Black Beauty eggplant. And then they give you the actual botanical name for this, which is, was it Solanum? I'm terrible by this, by the way. Solanum melangina. Melangina, I think, is where it's at. Anybody who's a botanist in the chat, feel free to correct me. All right, so you're gonna have this. They let you know, again, the weight of the seeds, but approximately how many. 200 seeds in here, right? Because you're gonna start, you know, you're gonna start them in these pods, right? And by the way, I'm gonna have another video out on a soil blocker coming out soon, which I think you guys will enjoy. Because I'm trying to move away from plastic in the garden, just where I can using it. And I've got a soil blocker, which I'll be testing and setting up here probably tomorrow as I go through that video. So I'm excited for that. All right. So then again, we've got premium selection. They go through the same thing where they talk about non-GMO. But then on the back, and this is where the important stuff starts kicking in here, folks, where they're going to talk about the different areas. They're going to give you some information, kind of give you an oversight about this here, which is eggplants are typically large and oval shaped with a smooth, glossy skin. They have a mild, slightly bitter taste and a creamy texture when cooked. You know, you're going to discover some plants in here that you've never grown before, you may never had any experience with. It's going to give you an education on how to use them, what they're like. Right. The next, they're going to tell you when to start the seeds inside and when to start outside. It's very specific, the differences, right? If you're going to be sowing. They're going to let you know kind of the area where you're at. I'm in zone 7B, so this doesn't really match up 100% with me. I'm in subtropical here in northern Michigan because I'm right by the lake, so I get this weird, almost like buffer zone where I get heat, but not, we get heat, but not too hot, we get a lot of humidity. It can, you know, so it is hot, but not too hot. And in the winter, we do get cold. However, once we start getting towards spring, the lake starts doing its buffer thing and it's not as bad. So it's kind of wild what happens. So we have that. Next up is going to be your germination rate, right where you want to have the spot here. And it's going to tell you this little line, the peak spot for germination. So the peak temperature for germination on these is around 85 degrees. That's where you want. So when you are planting these like indoors like this and you're starting them, you need to have warming mats underneath this to maintain the temperature super high on that. Okay. Additionally, they always include this. They got these little QR codes that are going to give you the growing guide. You go here, it's going to help you grow this plant better if you have questions. And then at the bottom here, which is really great, they give you the different levels of basically which goes down through, which is going to be your, right, we've got how much water, which is moderate amount of water. They want full sun. They tell you your spacing you need to have here. So it's 18 inches. So it's 1.5 feet, a 1/4 inch depth, right? So if we're using our tool that we had, a 1/4 inch down. And then the one, in my opinion, the second most important thing outside of the germination temperature, like how you need to manage the seeds, is how long until you have the harvest, right? 80 days. That's kind of where they're sitting at here. So let me check something real quick here, guys. Okay, cool. All right. Just making sure where we're at with everybody. So again, you guys, anybody watching in the chat, do me a favor and just make sure that you let me know where you're watching from. I always love to be able to see where folks are at. We got people from all over watching this right now. Okay. So we got this. Next up that we got is going to be, and again, we're just going to kind of roll through these guys. So if you got questions you need me to stop, just drop them in the chat. Okay. So here's our endive. Endive is really delicious. I love this stuff. It's so good. We have some growing over here. I've got endive. It's just starting to germinate right now. It's really good in salads. It's got that little, it's a bitter taste, right? It's got that little bite that you want to have anytime you have a salad going. And this is just all kind of mixed up here, guys. So with this, I've got another video. We did this exact same video on a different layout with more of an overhead view. So if you want to see that as well too, be sure to go check that out. I like to do on mobile and then this as well. So anyways, we got this carrot type we got here. And again, this is the Royal, was it Chardonnay, Chantenay, something like that. And again, these are the medium size, 5 to 6 inches on that one. We got our scallion onions. Oh, it wants to not be, gotta make sure this stuff stays in. There we go. We'll do it right there. So we got scallion onions for that right there. Those are delicious. Kale. So kale, again, is one of our brassicas, right? We talk about brassicas a lot on here because in my area, brassicas grow well, right? And brassicas are your, in the world of brassicas, they're the same plant. They were just bred differently. So you've got Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, broccoli, you got your kale. I'm missing one. It'll come back to me in a second. But yeah, so these really, really enjoy the cold. Like kale, they just love the cold weather. So I've got to kind of work around this. So I always start them in the greenhouse, move them out into the garden to finish off before the heat comes. And as soon as the heat comes, I'm starting germinating my next round of them. So they'll be protected. They'll grow, when they're ready to go and to get ready for harvest, move them out in the garden for the fall where it's cooler weathers and they just perform better that way. So we got cress. Everyone loves cress. Again, these are just more things that we're going to be adding to different meals that we're cooking. So we love that for us. So, hey, Aaron. Oh man, we're doing good today. Oh, I just had some of my seeds fall down. We're just, we're just hitting up seeds today. Good to have you on here. I got my pack from Organo Republic, so I'm just kind of reviewing it for everybody. It's one of my, again, this is a 55 packs of seeds for $23. You just can't beat it. Plus, it comes with a kit of other stuff. I always just like to review with everyone, especially we have a lot of newer folks that, don't have as much time gardening. So I always try to hop on here and just talk it through and share. So, all right, so here we go. We got our cucumbers in this one as well. So, again, these grew really well this year. I got a huge harvest out of these last year. And again, these are the Marketmore 76s. And then we got this also, your Boston pickling. Make sure you know the difference between your cucumbers as well, because it's going to let you know when you should harvest them. So it's important to know the difference between the two on the harvest time for these because of the size that you're going to get, right? Because These, we want to get them when they're smaller because they're going to be for pickling. These, we're going to want to make sure they're getting a little bit larger, okay? They're good for, these are slicers, these are for pickling. So just know the different types. All right, so we also got our corn that we have in here as well, right? And this is and I always grow corn, and you see I actually have some right back here from last time that I have drying up that I'm going to use again. And I've got these as well, so we're going to make sure we're going to get good germination off of these, be protected as well. So we got our collards, another group that we have here. If you haven't grown these are really good. I'm excited for this. I know it seems silly to say this, but I am so excited. Yeah, you can do popcorn. You know, you can get those seeds and have them. They're great. I've got some jewel corn also that I'm going to plant as well. The glass gem corn. I'm going to grow that this year too. So we're going to have a whole lot of them going. But I'm excited for this. I loved growing celery last year. I didn't realize how much I was going to enjoy this, but it takes forever. Celery takes like 1 billion years to germinate. And then it doesn't, in my area, it doesn't grow as fast as I would like, but it was just great to have fresh celery available along with, you know, for chicken salad sandwiches, stuff like that, and just anything I was cooking. It was good to have. All right, so we got our next brassica, right? We got our cauliflower. It's included in here as well too. Oh, Thai peppers and the jalapeno. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we got some jalapenos in here as well too. So yeah, it's I've got my tunnels, my basically my 2-foot tunnels that I'm going to be starting probably in March is when I'm going to be able to get them out there. So I'm excited for that. Next is going to be our, again, next type of carrots. They include quite a few carrot varieties and different varieties in here. And one of the reasons I like that too, guys, is you're going to find out which versions of these seeds, like the different plants, grow well in your area. And once you discover the different varieties and how they do well, you can research through, through Google and everything, the varieties that are similar that will also grow well. It's going to kind of give you an opportunity to grow different types of the same type of stuff. And I found that, again, different carrots do well in my area. Not all do good. So it's just finding the right ones. So we got our peas as well. I love growing peas. They're great to have in the garden. One, because early, right? They like cold weather, but also because they get started. They're just great to have around for snacks. You know what I mean? I don't grow enough peas peas are cheap, guys. You can go to the store and get a huge packet of peas for like $1.50. I mean, they're just fun to have around to snack on more than anything. So kind of where I have them. That's the way I look at them. Onions, I have onions. We'll be starting here in the next probably, hard to say, but I want to say probably in the next 6 to 8 weeks, I'll be getting some onions started. Maybe sooner than that. So it depends what the weather looks like, because I want to be able, as soon as I can get them outside, I want to have them outside. They include okra in here. I don't grow okra, but depending on where you're at in the country, do your okra. It's not one of my favorite vegetables, to be honest, but it is what it is. We got a corn salad here, which is another one, which is really, really good. Again, just to toss in your salads that you have here, mache corn salad. That's one of the things that I always tell folks when you're learning, if you're learning how to garden, start with greens. Lettuce is very forgiving. It's very, very forgiving. It just likes to grow. It's a weed, really. And we eat the immature version of the actual plant. What we harvest is basically before puberty, right? There's a thing that happens when lettuces get to a certain age and a certain heat and amount of sunlight hits them, they go through something called bolting, where you will have the plant, which sits about yay big or so, right? Gets hot and all of a sudden it extends out like an accordion, or I just say that extends out, right? Like a telescope, right? Then it starts flowering. That's the mature version, where now it's going and it's going to be making a seed. So we eat it before then. So it's really important. Early jalapeno, yeah. Ooh, man, those are huge. Do you can jalapenos, can you overwinter those? Just curious. Like you can do with like some other peppers. Just curious. All right. So next, this was the last one of the brassicas, kohlrabi. I always forget about this one. So kohlrabi is, again, it's like it's done for less for its leaves, more for the actual root ball that it has there. Okay, so it's, again, they put it in here, it's kind of like a turnip, right? Kind of where it's at. So this is the last of the brassica family here. It grows okay, around here. Next is this butter crunch lettuce. I love this stuff. This grows really, really well in my area too. This butter crunch, definitely worth it. And again, I just love the fact with this kit. That's why I come on and I talk about it when I do. Is that it? You get so many options of stuff you want to try, and you can find out what works for you. It's really great. Parsnips. Parsnips are one of those things. Like when I was a kid, man, I hated these things. And don't tell my mom or my dad. It's because they didn't know how to prepare them correctly. Once you learn how to prepare these, oh man, they're so good. They have so much umami in them. They're just so good. Okay. That being said, you gotta know how to prepare them, otherwise they taste like feet. Ugh, you don't want that. All right, next up is gonna be this type of lettuce here. Again, this is the Cimarron Red, right? And it comes in here, and it's just a top tip for anybody watching. When you see this red or purple that's in here, this means it's gonna do really well in the cold. It for whatever reason, there's something in there. We'll just call it antifreeze, whatever it happens to be. But these really love the cooler weather and they will thrive. Then they do really well. And again, it's a really good, it's just great for salads. Really good to have on there. One of those other things that I just like that I've just discovered is sauteing a lot of these lettuce leaves and adding them into soups. I get a lot of stuff when I do my Asian cooking. I'll be throwing in as much greens as I can because they reduce down when they wilt, and they add just such a level of, again, flavor, texture, but also you get a lot of nutrients out of them as well too. So something to keep in mind. Next is gonna be your iceberg lettuce. Grow this if you want to. Iceberg lettuce is pretty cheap. And frankly, it's crunch water is really all I've ever called it. Like it's the flavor of water with texture. That's what this stuff is. My chickens like it though, so I'll probably be growing some just so I can toss it at them. All right, it also comes with romaine. Now the thing with romaine lettuce, if you can, it's a difficult one to grow. It's very finicky. A lot of these, again, what would be the romaine style with the thicker ribs on here? They tend to be a little tricky at times. If you can get it to germinate correctly and take off, yeah, it's robust after that. It's just really tricky at the beginning to get it to go. So again, pay attention. And again, this is one with you probably want to get the actual growing guide that they have. Again, remember on the back of this, they have a QR code. You can go get a growing guide for these. Highly recommend it for, if you've never grown it before, it's worth it going to check it out. If you have and had struggled, go back to the growing guide. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at what recommendations that they have and how it may help. All right, so then we got the broccoli rab, the spring rapini. This stuff is good. I've got this growing right here. It's doing its thing. It's doing its thing. We love that for us. Next is we got our our Long Island Improved. This is our Brussels sprouts. It's something I think it's just a rite of passage as an adult. You fully become an adult when you learn to appreciate Brussels sprouts. I don't know what it is, something with our palate changes, but man, really good roasted Brussels sprouts with some oil, garlic, little onion thrown in there. Everything's just kind of caramelized, some mushrooms. That's typically what I do in the spring too. My Brussels sprouts are usually ready to harvest, my spring ones, the same time that morel mushrooms are popping up around here. So I've got fresh Brussels sprouts, I've got carrots, and then I've got morels. Throw everything together. That's a nice little salad. Throw it in with some venison steak. Yeah, it's the good stuff, guys. Oh, so good. Okay, anyways, but I'm months away from that. January 3rd. So getting ahead of myself. All right. Next is gonna be cabbage. We're gonna be growing a bunch of cabbage this year. We're gonna be making a bunch of sauerkraut, so I don't want to get too far ahead of myself there. Again, another carrot that we have variety, and then we have this here, which are our leeks. So depending where you're at, you may have never had a leek before like that. Leeks they have a delicate onion flavor. They grow wild around here, so I can just go find leeks, and they come up around the same time that the wild asparagus and your morel mushrooms and your early season mushrooms come up. So you can go find these. That being said, I don't typically grow these. If I want onion, I like full-blooded onion. If I need something delicate, I can always grab a shallot and just kind of make that adjustment, which is going to be that mix between a little garlic and a little onion. So what do we got here? Yellow crookneck squash had 30. Squash plant. Woof, woof, woof. Plant waited for the morning. Pig deer ate every single one. Oh no. Oh, that stinks. Yeah, that's so I actually have a 6-foot fence all the way around my around my garden, just because of the deer situation we have here. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, Brussels sprouts are where they're at. Okay. Other ones we got is arugula. I have some arugula growing as well too. And what I would just tell you folks, I keep bringing them back to the greens here. greens are a really great way to make sure you have something always growing in your soil. If there's one thing that we talk about on the channel here more than anything, besides we don't worry about stuff, right? We don't worry that attracts squash bugs. We don't do that here. Um, you always have to have something growing in your garden or have the ground covered at all times. Like right now, obviously it has snow over it, but on top of beneath the snow, I've got a layer of leaves and compost just covering the soil to protect it from UV rays. If you don't have mulch on top of your garden, it's just bare soil, you need to have something growing in there, and to protect the natural biome that's in there, but also it's going to help protect the water loss because it provides shade for, again, for the worms, everything it needs to be there, and there's structure that you're losing by not having stuff growing in there. Okay, so with that, either have something growing in the ground at all time or have it covered. So make sure you do that. You got to protect the soil. You do that, takes care of itself. So we got these beets. This is the Detroit red, Detroit dark red, excuse me. I'm growing so many of these this year. You guys are not going to be like prepared for the number of beets that I'm growing this year, but I'm going to be canning a bunch, but also just for the neighborhood. I know a lot of folks want them. We got our beans here. We got our green beans. I've got a set of string beans, your green beans. I'm going to be growing probably about a third of my garden is going to be dedicated just to green beans this year because of the neighborhood. They really just want some green beans, and I'm going to make sure we provide it for them. So that's on the list. Other stuff we got to keep going here, man. We still got more seeds, guys. This is from one pack, $23. It's on Amazon. The link's down in the description. You won't be disappointed. Gives you this great variety. I'm just trying to tell everybody here. They do such a good job. And again, not sponsored. They don't send me any money. Again, Organo Republic, if you're watching, I will take a sponsorship, but this isn't sponsored. Okay. So we got this radish here as well. Got radishes. So the one thing with radishes talked about on the stream earlier was when you're doing radishes, there's the entire plant's edible, right? You can eat it, but there's parts of it, but it's kind of yuck at different times. So when you got your radishes here, right, you can harvest them before they go to seed, which is fine. You can get them and that's good. Or you can let some of them go to seed and they end up with these little pods about yay big. They look kind of like little peppers. There's these little things, right? When they're young and they're really fresh, you can harvest those and you put them in salads. They have a very mild radish flavor to them. I got that horseradish. They're great in salads. They're great to throw in anything that you happen to be cooking. Radish pods are like underrated. I think they're unknown, but they're underrated. It's one of the things that I actually grow radishes for is to have access to radish pods. So I can do that. Okay. All right. Up next, they've got bok choy in here. Be careful with your bok choy, folks. It's good. It's delicious. It holds up on stir fry or all the reasons. I hate to say it, it's almost better as a container plant because it doesn't play well with the rest of the garden. It'll actually stop and it'll really harm other plants around it. It doesn't play nice. So just keep that in mind with your bok choy. Artichokes, I grew a couple last year. They provide cover for my chickens. The chickens really didn't like to eat them or anything. They just kind of like to hang out under because artichokes are huge, like they're monster plants. It's just it's a big thistle plant, just like you have growing around in your garden. Just a thistle plant. They're huge. But they have a difficult time getting to what's the phrase I want to say here? In my area, it's a difficult time for basically to get the head to actually come out. They for whatever reason, not enough sun. I'm not sure what it is. It's just this angle. So I'm not going to be growing those, but they're there for you. Next up, our next brassica, we got the Waltham 29 broccoli. Again, brassicas, they're all the same plant. They've just been, bred for different reasons. Between the cabbages, your broccoli, your kale, right? And your Brussels sprouts and roll cobby that we looked at earlier there. Okay. And this one here, broccoli, that's for the flowerets. It's all the little green stuff right on the head there. Those are all flowers, individual flower heads. And one of the things I do like to do is when I grow broccoli, I will let some broccoli go and just let it flower. And it's super pretty when it goes. Super pretty. We got our next radish on here, another radish. I'm going to grow these things. You got those here. Check them out. And then, so this one here is going to be fun. This one here. Okay, so this is really good for stir fries, sautés, and grilled dishes. It's got really, really fibrous. Well, not say like overly so. It holds up well in a stir fry. So that's one of the reasons I have it here. It's really, really good. If you ever had fried squash, like tempura squash, this is a good one for that too. Okay. I'd say we're about 2/3 of the way through, guys. So here we got our cayenne pepper, right? I wish I could, I don't, these are, I'm probably going to grow this year and grow these because I use a lot of cayenne. I don't, with my venison chili, like I use in chili and I use it other things for seasoning. It's like one of the peppers that I use a lot. So I may give it a try again this year. I'm usually suck at it, but hey, we'll see how it works out. So our next one we got here is spinach. This is a cool weather crop. So this is when you start early, 4 to 6 weeks before the last frost date, and this will be underneath a tunnel. I actually have a 2-foot tunnel, 20 foot long. I'm gonna have a whole bunch of spinach growing here as well too, because I want to get this stuff growing, and I just love having fresh spinach. It's so good. Okay, next up is butternut squash. They include butternut squash in here. One of the things that I tell you with the squash is just make sure I don't want to say it here. Squash is pretty fickle, so make sure that you really are keeping an eye on the roots and the soil around the roots when it comes to squash. Squash bugs are a thing. Like I say, worrying attracts squash bugs, so we don't worry, but they do show up sometimes. So make sure that you take your precautions for that. One of the things, and also when a lot of the plants are younger, you bring a lot of slugs in, a lot of snails, things like that. You're going to want to have protection for that. And one of the best known methods is really just taking a bottom of a cup here. We're going to pretend this is a cup, right? Like one of your like red Solo cups or whatever. Just cut a very thin part of the bottom off here and put some beer in it. Just, cheap beer, the cheapest beer you can find, and put it down in the soil near the plants. The carbon dioxide and the aroma from the beer is going to actually attract the slugs. They go in and drown themselves. It's a great way to just kind of take care of them, because you're going to be losing stuff and you'll be like, man, what's coming in here eating it? Well, slugs are coming out at night and chomp it down. So just, have your little beer things out. And I'll have a little video about that as well, just to help everybody. All right, next up is zucchini. Zucchini, man, I tell you, my area loves this stuff. I can put a zucchini out and they'll be gone within an hour. People, I don't know how they figure it out. They must have a camera somewhere on my vegetable stand, but it'll be gone immediately. Them and that yellow squash and green beans, people just come and they'll just hoover them all up. All right, so we got our tomatoes. Next is going to be our red beefsteak. Things to keep in mind with your tomatoes. We always talk about this whenever we talk about tomatoes. Make sure you know the type of tomato plant that you have, if it's indeterminate or determinate, okay? So this is an indeterminate tomato plant, which means it will, as long as you have soil, water, sunlight, and support, it will grow for an indeterminate length. If it's a vine, it will just keep going. Okay, so that's why this would be this type of plant, an indeterminate, is where you'll have a trellis for it. Okay, if it's a determinate, which we'll take a like Roma, I think Roma's in here. Determinate, that's a bush style. It grows to a certain height, stops, and then it fruits. You get everything all at once. These fruit indeterminate continually, as long as they keep growing. So for the determinate type, like Roma, you need to have a cage, right? So you have a little cage for them that they'll sit in and do their thing. And that's where you need to understand the difference of the type of tomatoes you're growing. So indeterminate, we're going to have a trellis. Determinate, we're going to have a cage. And it'll say right on the back. It always says right in the first part of the phrase there, the type of tomato plant it is. Okay, up next is going to be our turnip, right? Kind of like a brassica. I mean, brassica, and again, they've got the name on here. Brassica rapa subserapa, right? The actual botanical name on here. But we got our turnips. People love these. I'm a big fan of turnips myself. They do really well in soups. We got our jalapenos, Aaron, right there. We were talking about earlier. They got jalapenos in here. If I used more in my cooking, man, I would spend more time figuring out. I just don't use it as much. All right, we got our crookneck. Aaron dropped something in the chat about this. It's just so you guys can hear it here. About 8 years ago, I had 6 yellow crookneck squash, easily had 30 to 40 squash a plant, waited for morning to pick. The deer ate every single one of them and the plants. And again, this is how you know it's a good vegetable, when the deer are eating them too. All right, got a poblano peppers also in this. Got our Connecticut field pumpkin. This is a big boy. This is the bigger ones, right? When you see field pumpkin, that's going to be a larger one. When you see something like this, which is a sugar pie, you hear sugar pumpkin, these are smaller. They're like small basketball versus a big basketball or beach ball. Beach ball for your field tomato, right? And you're going to have a small basketball for your pie tomatoes or pumpkins. What am I talking about? Jeez. Then we got here our sweet bell pepper. Again, bell peppers are cheap. I don't use them very often. They're available. You can grow them here though. They got the different varieties that are in there. All right, got a few more left here, folks, as we're zipping through this. Again, I appreciate everybody coming out here. Again, as you guys don't know, my name is Ryan. I just come on here, just live on YouTube in my greenhouse, my garden, doing stuff. And today is, again, we're reviewing the seed packs here. All right, so we got our large red cherry right here, and this is indeterminate. So this is a trellis tomato. One of my favorite greens, even though it's red, right, is your Swiss chard. I tell everybody, grow this. Grow Swiss chard. Love Swiss chard. This stuff is amazing. It's so good. And I put it in everything I cook when it's out in the garden nonstop. Got another radish here. It's the white sickle. Again, it's a version as well. Got our sunflowers. If you have some soil that you need to break up, sunflowers are really good for that. They have really big roots that go down. Just cut them off at the base when you're done and let them decompose. It really loosens up the soil. They're really, really good. Plus, you can eat every aspect of the sunflower. It's super good depending on when it's growing. Then we got our red onions also. Going to be growing these. These do really well in my area. I do really good in the spring. And lastly, we have our Roma tomatoes. They include these here, and these are determinate tomatoes. Cage, not a trellis. So these are a cage, right? They're going to grow a certain height, flower, and fruit, be done. Okay. All right, folks, so that is everything out of our Organo Republic thing here. Last couple things I wanted to be able to share in here on the back. They have growing guides, QR codes on the back of this thing. They also have, if you need to get a hold of customer support, you got questions, they got a QR code for that. And lastly, a culinary book. How to actually cook the vegetables you're growing. They have a QR code for it right here. Go check that out, okay? All right, so folks, that's where we're at today. That is going to be the end of the stream here. I appreciate everybody kind of hung out so long again. So the reason I bring this pack up, it's the one that I use as my base for all of the stuff that I grow in my garden. I highly recommend it for folks that are new or intermediate, just as something to be able to get a base and try all sorts of other stuff here. I also order my own seeds separately for the things that I want to grow as I figured out what I like to grow. And that's one of the things that I think is that a lot of people mistake and that they mess up when they're doing their gardening. They think they're going to spend money on these individual varieties before they master how to grow the basics. And that's what's great about this. For $23, you can get the swath, a whole variety of all the different types of vegetables that you could be growing in your garden, and you get to practice with those. And when you find the ones you really like, then you can branch out into the specialty niches as you've got your technique down. But I would just say you can practice with the inexpensive seeds that have a good germination rate, are going to give you really delicious fruits and vegetables. Do that first, then branch out into other stuff, okay? So with that, hopefully I earned your subscription today. I appreciate everybody who hung out this long. Again, I'll be back here tomorrow. I've got a review on a seed blocker I need to do. Plus, I'm going to be doing some work in the garden here as well. I've got some thinning that we need to do, and I've got my new tools for it. So we'll definitely be breaking those out. All right, folks, take care. We'll see you next time.